Beware the establishment grifters, or is it operatives? Hiding behind MAGA slogans. Today I stumbled across a political organization named Drain the Swamp PAC when I received an email blast soliciting money and announcing candidate endorsements and nominations. Now, generally I don't click on these sorts of emails, but the topic was Arizona, and as a longtime resident of Tucson who unfortunately has first-hand understanding of the political landscape in the state that had conservatives prop up John McCain and his acolyte Martha McSally, I suspected the worst and had to find out. Unsurprisingly, I was right on the money. The email begins with this: Drain the Swamp PAC is pleased to announce the following candidates who have been endorsed for the 2023 elections and nominated for endorsement for the 2024 elections. These candidates are nominated through a grassroots referral process, and in consideration of the candidates' current affiliations, recent past affiliations, and activities for their state and district. Drain the Swamp Committee reviews nominations on the basis of constituent support, professional background, character, policy stances, America First values, and support for President Donald J. Trump. All sounds great, right? With a name like Drain the Swamp and outspoken support for President Trump, you'd probably assume that this group was, at least in some capacity, anti-establishment and America First. And you'd be wrong. In fact, a number of those names being considered for endorsements, as they're on the nominations list, are Renos, and even legitimate Democrats. No, I'm not joking. Pima County Sheriff Chris Nanos has a long history of being a Democrat and still is, which is something anyone could discover if all they did was run a cursory internet search. Yet, he's listed as a nominee. The same goes for Sheriff David Hathaway, the Democrat of Santa Cruz County who reportedly told far-left protesters at Arizona's border wall he was so glad they were there. Now, for the rhino aspect, you'll need a little context and, with Representative Tom Emmer dominating the headlines given the speaker events. See below. As we know, the Electoral College is a major obstacle for the left as it desires to impose a tyranny of the majority, and it's a little hard to accomplish as long as those flyover people have as much say as the coastal progressives, and what Emmer is discussing in the video above is state legislation commonly referred to as interstate agreements, or national popular vote compacts, that would de facto abolish the college. As he says of the scheme, each state is allowed to determine how to award its electors. If state legislators willingly hand over state sovereignty, the college exists. But not really. From an Oklahoma outlet on the matter, a bill can be known by the company it keeps. NPV is endorsed by left-wing groups like ACLU, Sierra Club, League of Women Voters, and Common Cause, an organization that receives its funding from groups like George Soros's Open Society Institute and the Tides Foundation. Obviously, these groups would not be supporting NPV if they did not stand to benefit from it. Meanwhile, no major conservative figures have come out in support of NPV. Back to Arizona. In 2016, a number of Arizona legislators introduced an NPV bill, known as HB 2456. If you take a look at the primary sponsors and co-sponsors listed here, you'll see that 7 of them also appear on the nominee list for Drain the Swamp. They are Mark Fincham, J.D. Mesnard, Warren Peterson, Sonny Borelli, David Livingston, Anthony Kern, and Steve Montenegro. To add another layer to the scandal, installed Governor Katie Hobbs was a legislator in 2016, and also signed on as a primary sponsor to the bill. Don't assume that, just because an organization claims to be America First or pro-Trump, that it really is. Unless you know the organization, do your own research. Otherwise, you may find yourself bamboozled into voting for candidates who stand for everything you oppose.